it's April. Yes, means the sun is a little bit closer. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mimi Folco. I'm a tarot reader, astrologer, numerologer, Reiki practitioner, candle maker, bunch of different things. And I do these tarot readings every Saturday about whatever is coming up for us all. So this week we are looking at the month of April. So it's going to be the month ahead. We're going to be splitting it into thirds like we do every month. I've got 3 piles on the table that you can choose from, and the timestamps for those readings are in the description box below, so you can just skip ahead if you're not interested in hearing what I have to say beforehand, which that's fine. I did want to, before we move on, I wanted to just say a sincere thank you to everybody who reached out last week. I really appreciated your love, your compassion, your kindness towards me just taking that week for myself. I really appreciated that. I needed it, and I definitely really loved being able to kind of show you guys a more authentic side of me and just like my own personal self. So I'm hoping that in the future I can be this version of myself, just relaxed. I do feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to do these readings really perfectly, or, you know, whatever. Not that there is a perfect, but just to show that, you know, I'm human going through the same lessons that everybody else is, and I just really appreciated your guys' compassion. If you want to know about the giveaway that I'm doing and will be doing until I reach 1,000 subscribers, you can check out the video that I posted last week. It has all of the instructions, and it also has all of the prizes that I'm giving away. I'm giving away 7 prizes. The video says what those prizes are. You can go back and check that out. As always, I really love meeting you guys, so if you ever want a one-on-one session, all you have to do is book that on my website, harveymountainalchemy.com. I offer tarot, astrology, Reiki, some numerology, and I also have unique crystal candles on my website too. If you guys don't know, I make soy candles in my shop, and I have a line that are completely unique, one of a kind, no repeats of that exact candle, and it's got different crystals on it, so it has their own like healing properties, and they have their own scents and everything. So if you're interested, you can go check that out on my website. I just want to get to this reading. I'm excited to see what the month of April has in store for us, because it's just sandwiched with this new moon in Aries on the 1st, and then the new moon in Taurus on the 30th, and we have the full moon in Libra in the middle of the month. It's just this sandwich of release, of letting go, of, you know, what doesn't serve us anymore, how can we be better people? I mean, that's just like always, but it just feels with these new moons sandwiching for the month, like there's a lot of release that can happen. There's a lot of lifting the weight off of our shoulders, a release of burden, kind of lightening our load a little bit. So I'm ready for that. I have your piles on the table. Why don't we just get started? All right, so pile 1, you've got this blue calcite crystal. Pile 2, you've got this black tourmaline. And pile 3, you've got this fluorite. Hello, pile 1. I have got your blue calcite here. So we're going to be looking at the month of April of 2022. I'm going to start off with general theme of the entire month, what it is that we're going to be addressing for the most part, the kind of recurring messages that you're going to be receiving. And then we're going to go through the thirds of the month. So the first 10 days, the second 10 days, and then the third 10 days. So starting off, I want to pull from the Sasuraibito deck. I love this deck. What are the general themes for April? There we go. We've got 1. Ooh. Wow, beautiful. Okay. So you got the Ace of Swords and the 10 of Wands. Look at that. I think the major theme for this month coming up is finding clarity of what it is that feels so heavy over you right now. Why is it that you feel like there's such a weight on your shoulders? What sort of burdens are you carrying right now? And how can you find clarity there, right? How can you cut out? I almost feel like this is like a heavy moment of like a depressive episode, of feeling all this weight, of feeling this intensity, this burdening, and you don't really understand why, right? There's all of this black cloud above, around, surrounding your mental space. So I think a major theme for you for April is how you can really clear some of that fog out, how you can maybe like cleanse your physical self, your emotional self, your spiritual self, and letting yourself lighten up a little bit. So let's look at the first 10 days of April. Let's see what's up. Oh, I also just got a ping to pull one of the Chakra Oracle cards. Let's see. So I'm going to do that before I tell you these 3 cards for... Ooh, wow. Hello. All right, there it is. Acceptance. That is the root chakra. The root chakra is all of this foundational work. It kind of talks about where we hold our fear, but also where we hold our security. Our sense of safety and security is in that root chakra. So it's almost like, I think that there is fear surrounding security, or maybe some concern that you aren't feeling so safe right now in an emotional way, right? If you're in physical danger, please address that somewhere with professionals. But I do feel like all of this clearing out this negativity or this weight or this burden or sadness first has to come with a sense of acceptance, an understanding that where you are is the right place, is where you're supposed to be, and maybe that you are having a lot of expectations that are telling you that you need to be somewhere else, and that is the weight that is really holding you down. So the first third of April, we started off with the Queen of Pentacles, we've got the Seven of Pentacles, and we've got the Knight of Cups. It feels like there's a lot of personal development when it comes to your self-worth, to your ability to value yourself wholly and fully. And I actually think that there's also somebody else in the mix, especially the first 10 days of April. I feel like there's somebody else who is showing you your worth, or that you feel like you have to prove your worth to. That's my dog. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Thanks for that. So it feels like there's somebody else involved when it comes to your self-worth. It could mean that you are tying your self-worth to somebody else, maybe a romantic person, partner, or just honestly anybody that you feel emotionally attached to. See just how much their opinion matters to you and how much worth you attribute to their opinion of you. I think it's really important for you to be able to stand your own and to be able to show your value just to yourself. It's not about proving your value to anybody else. It's just about being present in your own worth, in your own beauty, in your own creation, right? This inner divinity, this femininity within you, that you have this ability to just exist and be valuable by just existing. And I think you're a work in progress. I mean, we all are, but it feels like this specifically is a work in progress. Maybe some codependency issues are coming up during the first third of April. So let's look into the second third of April. Let's see what else we got. As if that first third wasn't enough. Okay, the second third. And one more. Wow. So again, you got the Knight of Cups. That's the second time around. So this person, whoever this is very present in your life for this month. You've got the World and you've got the Six of Swords. So it feels like this World, I instantly felt like a relief, like oh man, like finally I'm able to access some of the abundance and some of the manifestations that I've been really working on. So it feels like the second third of April, there's there's definitely a weight lifted off of you, that you finally have access to some of the greatness that you have within yourself and also external circumstances. I think you're going to be presented with a lot of valuable things. But we also have this Knight of Cups. So I feel like in this first third of April, it's not about giving up on the person. It's not about giving in to the person. It's just the fact that this person is really present in your life. And it could be that, okay, you have a really intense conversation with this person. Maybe it's a romantic partner about your self-worth and how you attribute your self-worth to their opinion of you. And it doesn't mean that the next 10 days, it's going to be the same person. It could mean that you're just continuing to learn this lesson every 10 days so far in April. It does feel like you're going to have to step away from a couple of things with the Six of Swords. Mentally, I think more so. I think it's about how much are you really taking on this World card? How much are you really taking on? Does it feel overwhelming? Does it feel like it's weighing you down? And what about it actually presents you with joy? What about it do you feel like you could really continue growing and letting it evolve into something that you really love? I feel like this could be really work related, right? If you are starting out, or not even starting out, but if you're really like focused in on your work right now and you feel like it could really develop into something great and it provides you with that excitement, that joy, that inspiration, inspiration, good, continue doing that, right? If it's mentally stimulating you in a positive way, I think it's really important to keep it going. I do think though that if there's something that you're holding on just for the sake of holding it on, for consistency, for happiness, or not for happiness, for happiness of others, I think is where I was going with that, then it might be time to let it go. If it's not presenting you with joy and inspiration and value, right? Because it doesn't have to be happy, but if it's providing you with something valuable, then keep it around. So the 2nd, 3rd of April, I feel like it's going to be important for you to accept that some things have to step away, while some things can actually be more in the forefront and can really be focused on here. All right, last 3rd of April. Let's see what else we got. What deck? Light Seers. Last third. Ooh, hello. Okay, last one more. Great. All right, so first things first, you got this King of Wands, then you got this Page of Pentacles, and you've got the 7 of Swords. I do think that by the time this last 3rd of April comes around, right, this was more internal, communicating with yourself about what it is that should stick around versus what you kind of intuitively know that you need to let go of. I think by the time it comes to this last 3rd of April, we're going to be in Taurus season. You'll be ready to step away from it, right? It doesn't take a lot of thinking, right? With Aries, it's just about, okay, I had the thought and now I'm going to act on it. So I think that it's going to be important for you in the last 3rd of April to let go of whatever it is that just isn't providing that sort of sense of value or happiness or creativity in your life anymore. This King of Wands, it's time to be assertive in the last 3rd of April. The 21st to the 30th, it's time for you to really act from the heart, but it's time for you also to recognize when you are reacting or when maybe ego is a little bit present. I know that at the beginning of this month of April 1st, we have the new moon in Aries, which to me, I've been feeling is such a shed of the ego, such a shed of like thinking you're something you're not or presenting yourself as something you're not. It's really important to be authentic and to really sit in your own personal power as an honest and authentic person rather than trying to present yourself as anything different than just yourself. And we've got this Page of Pentacles. I think that a newfound value is really going to come to you at the end of April. I do think that money is sort of important throughout this month. It feels like there's some worry, some concern, I think in your own mind that you're very concerned about your assets or your values. But I just want to say, like, here it feels pretty safe. You feel pretty secure. The only security that you need to worry about, or not worry about, but that needs to be in the forefront or at your focus is that own inner emotional security. How safe are you feeling just within yourself? How much can you really just exist and know that you're valuable? That's sort of the theme for April. So let's pull some cards from this Healing Oracle deck. See what comes up. Anything more that needs to be really properly healed this month for pile 1. We got Struggle and Ancient Wisdom. Beautiful. I mean, for me, I say beautiful all the time, but I just think anything that's like intense is really beautiful. So you got Struggle and you've got Ancient Wisdom. I feel like this month is a really good one for you to pay attention to that inner voice, that sacral chakra, that solar plexus, really being able to communicate with your inner self, with your intuitive self and your higher self is going to be really important so that you don't feel like you're struggling all of the time. That struggle is such a mental block, and being able to say, I'm going to overcome that, and then actually overcoming it, I think is really going to be important for you. Not letting that struggle take over, not letting this 10 of Wands be everything and take over you. And I think this is actually really interesting just because last week when I didn't post a video, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let it take over. I'm just going to tell everyone that I can't, and I will do it next week. So just leading, that as an example of it's okay to say I'm struggling right now and I'm going to move on from it rather than holding on to it so much. All right. That was your tarot reading. That was your tarot reading for the month of April. I hope that was helpful. I'm sending you a lot of love, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. All right, pile 2. I have got your black tourmaline here. So we are going to do a reading for the month of April. We're going to start off with the general theme of like what is going to be going on for the month of April. What are the recurring messages you'll be receiving throughout the entire month? And then I'm going to pull cards for every third of the month. So the first 10 days, second 10 days, third 10 days, you get the drill. So let's start with the themes for April. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, instantly these came out. All right, you've got the Four of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. Look at how they're both concealed within. Big gust of wind out there with the wind chimes. Look at how they're both in this sort of fetal position. This sense of self-preservation and self-protection and self-re-nourishment, like replenishment of self. And this one feels like her heart is outside of herself. This one feels like there's no heart in the space. There's no warmth in the space. So I think it's almost like April is going to be a really important month for you to recharge the heart, to let your heart replenish, re-nourish, be very nurturing to yourself and to your needs, right? Your personal needs, making sure that emotionally you feel safe. But also knowing that you have the ability to get yourself out of this. And I think that there's going to be not a struggle, but there's going to be a duality between self-care and almost like what is lazy to you, right? So both of these images have this, I don't know, just like this theme of sitting within and being closed into yourself. And for this Four of Swords, it's a mental rest. She's going to be feeling better after this nap. It's like a power nap. Whereas this one, it's like she's sitting in that sad spot. She's not letting it recharge. She's letting it take over, right? She has the key to get out of this space and go maybe rest and be kind of I feel like this is, like a baby bird, like mom is taking care of you. You can find your own inner mother towards yourself, right? Whereas this is like you're almost punishing yourself for feeling anything. So it feels like April is a time to really deliberately recharge. That's all I can really say about that theme. I'm going to pull one card, the Chakra Wisdom Oracle card, to see kind of where this is being held, where in the body. We've got Perseverance, the sacral chakra. So yeah, not letting this take over, and letting yourself rest a little bit, not telling yourself that you're lazy, or not being disappointed in yourself for not being as productive as possible. Just persevere through those more societal pressure thoughts and let yourself be happy. If you're feeling good and if you're letting yourself rest and you feel good after resting, don't shame yourself for resting. Let yourself have that moment. So just persevere right through that. So let's start with the first third of April. What are we getting? What is pile 2 getting here? Wow. So we've got the 5 of Wands, we got the World, and we got the 9 of Wands. You can see everything. I almost feel like you're going to be really observant the first 10 days of April. Like you're just watching out. You won't really have a lot to say, but you're almost like, I feel like this with all of the wands being in really different spots of the snake, like you're almost in so many different places at once, and you can sort of be a fly on the wall through a lot of situations in the first third of April. You can watch things, how they implode or how they explode, maybe watching and observing how other people are acting around you or acting around loved ones. I feel like is going to be really important. Making sure that you're not getting too defensive about anything that's going on. I think that this first third of April, and I know it's Aries season, and you might feel really engaged and really want to, move forward and take action. But we know that you have this Four of Swords, right? It's about rest. It's about productive slowness. And it's not the best idea for you in the first third of April to be reactionary, because I think that your reactions down the road, you would regret them. So letting yourself just observe, and maybe what you feel is complacency is actually diplomacy. And that is sort of like the imagery shifting of these two cards, that they're so similar to each other, but there's a flip side to them. So letting yourself be kind of diplomatic throughout this first third of April, and that's going to be leading up to the full moon in Libra, which is kind of all about diplomacy and about seeing both sides, being really objective about everything. So try not to get too emotionally involved or emotionally engaged in what goes on in the first third of April. So let's see, the 2nd, 3rd of April, the 11th to the 20th. Got the 9 of Pentacles, the 4 of Cups. Wow, there's a lot of greatness around you and this Ace of Pentacles. There's a lot of greatness around you in the 2nd, 3rd of April, and I feel like you might take some of it for granted. So it's about being complacent at the right time, right? Being diplomatic at the right time, but that doesn't mean that you can't be reactionary when it's gratitude or when it's, when it's beneficial to you to really feel and sit in that joy or whatever sort of positive feelings come through. Do react. I think that the reaction in the 1st, 3rd of April was more about anything that you're feeling really defensive about, or like you're not even going to listen because you already know how you feel. That's what needs to be observed rather than reacted to. And then the 2nd, 3rd of April, I feel like there's a lot of greatness. There's a lot of abundance coming your way. It's important for you to allow yourself to be happy about it and allow yourself to see it too, right? Don't take those things for granted. You might have to do it one at a time though with this Ace of Pentacles. It feels like if you're overwhelmed with goodness or like good news or abundance, you're not going to see it as well. So maybe the 2nd, 3rd of April won't be filled with all of this abundance, but there will be little sprinkles. Take those sprinkles, right? Don't take anything for granted in the 2nd, 3rd of April. Show people how much you love them. Tell people how much you love them. Express yourself in a loving way, right? So shedding of the ego on the new moon in Aries, which is April 1st, is going to be really important for us to let go of any sort of preconceived arguments even. Like, I don't know about you, but I feel like there's somebody out there who like will have fights in their head before even talking with the person about like that subject, right? So you're like already like, oh, well, if they say this, I'm going to say that. I feel like that needs to just be let go. Don't even give your energy and your time and your like mental space to that. Just let yourself be happy, right? And if that argument or that discussion comes up, then you can rationally communicate what it is that you feel. But reactionary is just not the way to go for this April. All right, so last 3rd of April, this is Taurus season now. Okay, work to be done. Ooh. How annoying is it when I don't show you the cards right away? Okay, we got the 10 of Wands, right? So that's that work to be done. Getting all of your ducks in a row, getting all of your feelings together, right? Feeling a little bit more composed, put together. This is when you're going to feel really good about not being reactionary in the 1st, 3rd of April during Aries season. Because then come Taurus season, there's that sense of groundedness, that you feel a little bit more patient, a little bit more understanding. And maybe you're going to be feeling a little bit more giving. And I think you'll be rewarded for being able to be more giving too, this King of Pentacles. The 6 of Cups speaks of sweetness, of softness, speaks of nostalgia. It speaks of that like sweet memories that you had with your mother, your grandmother, your father, right? Having those sweet little times that you look back on as good moments in childhood. That's sort of that 6 of Cups energy. And so it's almost like this last 3rd of April, it's time for you to get all your ducks in a row that you sort of put everywhere, right? Like we have these 5 wands placed in many different areas. Now compose them all together. Compose all of that evidence, then you can really see how you feel about things, and you can present them in a very grounded and practical way. That King of Pentacles, right? He is very assured and very assuring when he speaks. So let's see kind of the healing. I want to pull some cards from this healing oracle deck. Okay, Perception. Just kind of flipped right over. This was on the top of the deck, and it's a 9. And you got a 9 of Pentacles. I was wondering where the 9 was. And you got the 9 of Wands, that's why. Okay, so we've got Perception. Again, that shift in how you see things, right? Complacency versus diplomacy. 4 of Swords versus 5 of Pentacles. Letting yourself rest, letting yourself observe, and letting yourself just perceive others. And I think it's also about perspective, right? Allowing yourself to sit in somebody else's shoes as you observe them. And let's see, one more healing oracle. We'll get there. There it is. Honoring your energy. Yeah. Not just letting your energy go everywhere all the time, right? Not letting yourself be frantic and exposed in many different angles. Just letting yourself exist letting yourself observe others exist. I almost think that you'll be watching other people react, and that's going to give you a little perspective too about where you want to come from. All right, pile 2, I hope that was helpful. I'm sending you a lot of love, and I will see you next time. Bye. All right, pile 3, I've got your little fluorite palm stone here. Love this little guy. So as always, this month ahead, we're going to look at the general theme of the month, what it is that's sort of recurring throughout the month, recurring messages that you'll be receiving, or sort of lessons that you'll constantly be going throughout the entire month. Then we're going to go through the thirds of the month. So the first 10 days, the second 10 days, the third 10 days of April. You know the drill by now, probably. If not, welcome. Anyway, so let's look at the general themes for this month. I'm starting off with the Modern Witch Tarot deck. There we go. Wow. Okay, we've got this Knight of Pentacles, we've got the 7 of Cups, and we've got the 2 of Wands. It feels like this month is a month of taking deliberate action, of really sitting on your thoughts on how you feel about certain choices that need to be made, decisions that you have to really move forward on. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight of them all. He takes very deliberate action. He knows exactly where he's going before he even starts going there. So the 7 of Cups, which is presenting you with a lot of options or a lot of choices, sort of what person do you want to be in this scenario? It's important for you to be assured in your thinking before you move forward. This feels like really heavy Taurus energy. Like you might have some fixed placements in your chart and you're being affected by Uranus in Taurus, or maybe you're even a Taurus and you're feeling all of it in Aquarius, and you know, just it's all going down for those fixed signs. Then you also have this 2 of Wands. What is the best option here for you, right? I feel like you have so many choices. You have a lot of things going on for you in April, but it's time to sort of simmer it down, compose yourself, choose the 2, choose your top 2 choices here. And maybe you could even have both of them, right? Maybe you can have both of those options available to you, but it's about taking action in a way that you are very sure of yourself. So do not make a decision on like rash, right? You have to be really sure of the choices that you're making this month. So let's start out with the first third of April. Okay. Feeling like maybe you're put in a box, feeling a little restricted. Ooh, very interesting. Okay, so we've got this 4 of Wands. It feels like you are sort of being put in a box, or like you have to be you have to fit a certain label. And I think that's pressure that you're putting on yourself. We've got this Ace of Pentacles, and then we also have this Devil, where you are here. You are this Ace of Pentacles, but for some reason you have this inner voice in your head that's telling you you're the devil. And it's telling you that there's the shadow side to everything that you do, and nothing you do is actually good-natured or actually a positive perspective that you have. And I think you're just so black and white when you're perceiving yourself that you can only be good or you can only be bad, right? And so it's important for you to be in this grounded state, this Knight of Pentacles, this Ace of Pentacles. It's really important for you to remain in a grounded state where you don't feel restricted, but instead like you feel like there's some order, which is really interesting because fluorite is actually the stone of order. It really reminds me of Virgo. A need to have a system of order, a need to feel organized and like everything is put together in a certain place that fits for you. So it's important for you to remain grounded and to have a system of order, but not to feel like you're put in a box and that you have to be, in this beautiful packaging of a box. So that's what I think the first third of April is really telling you. I think you're going to be facing some fears of, how you present yourself to others, but also just of how you communicate with yourself. And not just communicate, but just like the way that you exist with yourself, the way that you perceive yourself. I think it's about letting go of some of that, restless negative self-talk and letting yourself just exist. And instead of seeing the box as restricting, see it as a container that holds you and lets you be free in that box. All right, so the second third of April, what have we got? Ooh. We've got the Knight of Pentacles again, the 6 of Wands, and Temperance. It is about letting go of what does not serve you anymore. And we got this Temperance for making sure that you're being, you know, moderate about it. But this Knight of Pentacles is very different from the other one because it's a very humble Knight of Pentacles to me, right? Most of the knights are always on the horses. This one is walking alongside the horse. So it's almost like the knight does not see himself any better or superior to the horse. And I think that you are already in a very humbled state. And I think this devil of you telling yourself that you are, that you're maybe lazy or that you are incompetent, you know, just like that negative self-talk that I think we all know, that I think you're already in this very humble state and you don't see yourself as superior to anybody. If that doesn't sound like you and you're actually dealing with some ego stuff right now, maybe it is about humbling and letting yourself be humble again, because we do have this Six of Wands. So maybe it is always about you. So needing to let go of some of that and put the focus on other people, right? Balancing it out. But I do think that for some of you, it's about letting yourself shine. It's about letting yourself be a little less humble, letting yourself celebrate who you are, bragging about yourself. I feel like there's some people out there cringing at the thought of bragging about an achievement that you're excited about. So I think that the 2nd, 3rd of April is going to provide you with opportunities to balance out your humility, but also your pride of self. And pride doesn't always have to be bad, right? You can be proud of your achievements and your accomplishments and look at what you've done. As long as it's, again, really grounded and centered in, you know, sort of what you value most in your life and what you value most about yourself, things that you really love doing, things that make you feel lit up and excited and happy. These choices, these options, you know that there are a couple on top that you like more than the others. So letting yourself be honest about the ones that you just don't love anymore, the ones that you just aren't excited about anymore, and bringing it back to sort of your top 2, saying, all right, I was honest, I chose these top 2 options, and this is what I care about most. And it feels like sharing that with others is really important too. But it is about moderation. I feel like this humility versus pride is like a really big conversation that you already have with yourself. The Ace of Pentacles and the Devil, it's like these are such parallel images, and yet they convey such different messages, right? This is such a grounded, centered, loving space, and this one's much darker, shadow, shame, guilt kind of being there. And so just let yourself feel lighter. Let yourself be lighter. Let yourself not have all of those choices or options weighing you down. Instead, just be really excited about the few that you love and that inspire you. All right, the last 3rd of April. Let's see, what deck? Let's do Ostara. This little guy. Last 3rd of April. Wow, we got the Page of Cups. We've got the King of Wands. Ooh. Oh, we got four cards. So then we have also got the 5 of Swords and the Strength card. Love that. So let's start. We've got this Page of Cups here. This King of Wands. This 5 of Swords, and then we've got Strength. So let's see, this last 3rd of April, it feels like, I almost feel like you think you're telling a story, and you think that you're just sharing, like, I feel like this imposter syndrome, like you introducing yourself to other people, and like you're telling them about your life, or you're telling them about what you do, but you don't really feel confident in that explanation of who you are. You feel like there's so much more complexity and so much more to share, or you feel like there's nothing to share. I'm not that interesting. And so I think it's important for you to just find that confidence. I think the end of April is going to be a big one about finding your confidence, shifting the way that you think, shifting the way that you communicate, shifting the way that you perceive. And it is about finding strength within yourself. I mean, you got a major in every one of these like 3rds of the month, right? The first 3rd, you got the Devil. So facing some fears, facing those senses of shame, guilt, or shadow work. The 2nd, 3rd is Temperance, which is all about like finding balance, being able to balance between humility and pride, like we said. And then this last one is Strength. How are you going to show others what you've worked on? How is April going to conclude for you in a way that makes you feel like your heart has been lit up, like your heart has been filled. And not filled, I don't even think it's like an emotional, like soft feeling. I feel like it's a fiery excitement. Like there are Leos out there that just need to feel impassioned again. And I think this last third of April is a really good opportunity for you to feel that passion again. All right, so let's pull a Chakra Wisdom Oracle card. Just see sort of where in the body this is sitting. There it is. Isolation. This is in the throat. Important for you to communicate yourself, to communicate and express yourself really effectively. It feels like with that Ace of Pentacles versus the Devil, and then the Knight of Pentacles versus the Six of Wands, it feels like there are these two sides to you, and you feel like you have to be this one soft, quiet, almost meek side, but then there's this other part of you that just wants to like show yourself and expose yourself to others. So I think it's about really communicating what that push and pull means for you and where that came from, and how you want to move forward, kind of breaking up that block. So let's pull a couple of these healing oracle cards just to see what's going on. Transformation. Yeah, I can feel that. I do feel like this month is a big one for transformation and masculine energy. Yeah, again, I feel like that Leo energy of just like letting yourself be and not being afraid of that. So really, I feel like this month is a really good opportunity for you to transform from this really maybe feminine and almost like indecisive energy into, never mind, I know exactly who I am and I'm going to show you just who I am. And that is a really intense transformation that I feel like you're going through right now. So I hope that was helpful for you. I'm sending you a lot of love. I will see you guys next time. Bye.